living in the moment is not some bizarre, magical, mystical, like I have to try so hard kind of thing for me. It's just being. And many times when I'm relaxed, I'm naturally there. But if I start putting more emphasis on the outer, in other words, I start comparing myself to, what others are doing or what others have done, or I start worrying about the future. Fear's really about the past or the future. But really, it's just being in the present. It's just focusing on the task at hand and kind of allowing myself to enjoy that no matter what it is.
Welcome back to another episode of Enthusiastically Spiritual. I'm your host, Teresa, and today I've also got a special guest with me, which is
Tom.
Hey, Tom, how are you?
Great.
This is Tom with, of course, you guys know TNT SpiritWorks. So I invited Tom to come on another time in September because it felt like it was important to do. And so here he is with me.
It's great to be here.
Good. So we are going to do another episode this month of What's Up Spiritually and just kind of chat a little bit about what we're moving into this month of September 2024 and the whole year of September 2024 through August 2025. We are moving into a new energy of a kind of an overall theme or that's what I kind of want to call it, a theme. And the theme of this coming year is called Inner Resources.
Inner resources.
What does that mean to you, Tom? What's inner resources?
Well, for me, it's just working with my true feelings and my intellect.
Well, isn't that nice?
Yeah.
That is pretty good, I think.
Yeah, the balance of thought and feeling. That's what first comes to mind to me.
I like that. And you know what I like about inner resources also is that I feel from the places we've been lately with our expos and fairs, the people we've been meeting out on what I'd call the street, kind of the street beat, is that people are at a place right now where they're kind of up in the air. I think it's because we've all come out of, that pandemic and moving into what's next and not really knowing what's next. And I know for myself, I'm feeling that massive change too. And so, so moving into working with the inner resources that we all have within us is, I feel, one really important key in moving forward with what's next. How would you describe that for yourself with what we've been noticing lately with people?
Well, I think whatever happens next, I have the inner resources to move through it. And that as long as I keep in mind that, my situation is perfect for what I came to do, what I came to learn from a spiritual perspective. And I really have all the backing and that if I work with that inner balance of thought and feeling, having a thought for every feeling, but work from my true feelings first, I can navigate my way through any situation or start to really attract, I don't have to navigate as much as just attract the experiences that I need that really help me live my thrust.
Yeah, I like that a lot because being that, that we're all have our own unique journeys and that what works for me may not work for someone else and probably won't because they're not me. And keeping that in mind as we're all moving through our journeys day by day and having all these unique experiences that are unique to us. And so accessing these inner resources, which we all have a personal team of spiritual helpers that love back and support us. When we do our 50%, they back us with their 50%. And a key aspect about working with our guidance is that we have free will to either work with them or not.
That's a really good point. And why not?
That's a big point.
Why not take up the opportunity to work with them? And, my favorite analogy is that it's like they're up here in a helicopter and they can see the road ahead. Or a friend of mine says they're at the top of the stairs so they can see what's, kind of laid out and what's going to flow towards me. And I always come back to, what really fits with what I came to do, with what fits with my thrust. My thrust is my purpose. The vibration that I really work with a lot is that feeling of, being happy and free. And so in challenging times, I find that really it's all about what I'm thinking. If I mind my own business, it's easy to work with my inner resources. But if I'm kind of caught up in what's happening around me, and even getting too concerned about what other people are saying, about the environment and what they feel is coming up, because there's always some truth in that. But the real focus has to be my business, which is just, what am I learning in this situation?
I am so glad you brought that up, because that's a big key right there, is not listening to what everybody else is out there really chatting about, because there's so much what I like to call, like, energetic noise, background music, but it's really loud right now. It's like turning down that volume and being able to listen to what works for you, and does what other people are saying, even if, because it's everywhere, right? It's in the media, it's on the radio, it's in podcasts like this, it's it's everywhere. And so really recognizing what resonates for you at this moment and really feeling into that, because that's a key aspect of knowing what's right for you or what's not right for you, is how do you feel? And I know we've been working with that the last couple of years with all that's been going on the planet. And, like, does that feel like the right thing for myself, or does it not? How do you work with your feelings, Tom?
Well, my feelings just are. And it's a matter of recognizing them, is that they're different than my emotions. Emotions are like programmed responses and reactions I have to things. But when I'm expressing who I am, that's easy. It's just me naturally. And when I'm relaxed, and I notice when people are relaxed, they just sort of express who they are, and, they feel good, and they really live in the present. I guess it's all about, what's my priority in the situation that I'm involved with? Is it my priority to get caught up in the political situation? Is it my priority to get caught up in other people's troubles? I'm always willing to be of service. I'm here to be of service. That's where the spiritual growth comes from, is that opportunity to be of service. But living in the moment is not some bizarre, magical, mystical, like I have to try so hard kind of thing for me. It's just being. And many times when I'm relaxed, I'm naturally there. But if I start putting more emphasis on the outer, in other words, I start comparing myself to, what others are doing or what others have done, or I start worrying about the future. Fear's really about the past or the future. You're caught up there. And the beautiful now, sounds real cool to say, oh, the beautiful now. But really, it's just being in the present. It's just focusing on the task at hand and kind of allowing myself to enjoy that, no matter what it is.
Well, I think one area and one thing you hit on there too was staying out of other people's business, because oftentimes I know for myself, like, when people interact with me, they can be disturbing what I need to go through, what I need to experience. And so and that's also with outside of myself. Like, if I, butt into or, don't mind my own business and really, get into someone else's mess and what they need to be learning, I can also be disturbing that situation for them, and not allowing them to really have a full experience of why they're here, because, we're here to learn and grow. And it's not all pretty. And honestly, Tom and I were talking about that the other day, how, this is not utopia, and this is not meant to be a utopia. Now we can move through it, our journeys, with enthusiasm. We can be happy. We can feel love, but we also have to feel the opposite in order to learn and grow.
So the word priority is really what comes to mind. And I have to make my state of consciousness. So there's another fancy spiritual word, my state of consciousness, when really it's just about me being in the present and me feeling happy, feeling free, knowing that in the bigger picture, I'm energy, I'm a soul, and get back to that soul perspective. It's the soul, the intelligent energy that I am, that energy that we see in auras and around people and so forth. But as I'm more aware of that, there's a healing in that. and that kind of helps heal the physical body. So, there's a lot of distractions from what I came to do, and there's only so much that I have a direct influence over. But the main thing that I've got a direct influence over is how I feel and what am I thinking, and am I looking at things from a positive perspective. So, there are things in my life that I want to, organize in a different way, that I realize that I've been doing because I think I should be doing something rather than, or it's what somebody else thinks I should be doing, or even to the point where I start looking for approval for what I want, but if I'm more aware of just who I am in that moment and what do I want, and I make that my state of consciousness, which is really just having that balance between my thoughts and feelings.
That's really awesome. And so also bringing that full circle back to our inner resources, and like Tom's mentioning, what his personal journey is and how he wants to organize himself and move forward in that direction of what he's here to do and experience while he's here. It's important that we do access the inner resources that we have. And it's interesting too that this upcoming year is really, that's the overall focus theme of what we work with in TNT SpiritWorks, and the energy of the collective of what's coming in the planet, because of the fact that right now there's so many people who are kind of like, on kind of a limbo, not knowing which way to go, what's going to happen. And we're all feeling that. So coming back to accessing those inner resources, accessing your team of support you have, also your intuition, that ability to really, get those hunches, get those impressions, get those insights for your journey moving forward will really help. And not only obviously this year being a big, inner resources is the theme, but also moving forward, it's like working out, like you have to use the muscle. So I have to take time to connect with my inner guidance every day. I have to take time and slow down, which is something I would, really like to ask all of the listeners and all of you guys watching out there to take time to make space to connect with your inner resources, whether it be your intuition or your guidance, and do it on a day-to-day basis to build up that spiritual muscle, to really start developing your own intuition, your own, connection with your team, to really have that as a backup and have that as in your toolbox to move forward.
Yeah. And I guess to say it another way, the resources that I have are that I'm a soul, I have a purpose, I have a thrust, I already have a plan, and I have spiritual helpers, souls that essentially are master souls that live in a different dimension, you might say, from where we live. And they can communicate with us. We can get direct answers. The hunches and impressions don't have to be a hit and miss thing. It doesn't have to be a one way where I'm just communicating to them or praying to them or something. If I'm more aware of what I want and where I need to move through, my spiritual helpers can help me by letting me know, giving me hints as to how to move towards that. And if I'm patient, to just kind of go one step at a time. That's probably a big key for the upcoming years, that as things change around us, just know that I have the help, that I know I can always get the first step. And then once I get into action with that step, the insight of the next step comes to me. And then once I get into action with that step, the insight of the next step can come to me. So, and we can always recheck that stuff, directly. So it's a powerful tool to work with our guidance, but I'm the one with the physical body, so I have to take the action.
Absolutely.
It's for me to find out that I can unfold that inner power, that inner resources, and that inner stability to, like be a big ship and just be able to move through the water and go in the right direction. You mentioned, slowing down, and that's something that's occurred to me too, is that if I'm just on automatic and I'm just rushing from one thing to the other to get these things done, because in our world, accomplishment is highly regarded, and accomplishing for others is even more highly regarded. And that's all great because that being of service is all part of it. But I'm of service to myself in whatever opportunity I choose if I just take a moment to get relaxed and just tune in. And it doesn't take an hour and a half. It can take like 15 seconds to relax and, well, what am I really feeling about this? Wait a minute, I'm feeling pressure. Let me stop, relax, cleanse spiritually, and tune into, is this something I need to be doing? Or how could I do this better? How can I streamline this? How can I, and then what I need to become aware of for my spiritual growth just sort of unfolds in front of me is the best way I could say it. But if I'm not involved, if I'm not being of service, either to myself or to other folks, it's tough. If I'm going to sit on the mountain and just meditate all day, that's great, but we're here to be involved in action. And that's one of the key words for, a zone or planet Earth is action, activity, achievement.
Absolutely. And I like the way you talked about, doing it your way, because that's important, I think, for accessing the inner resources and doing it how you do it. So like, yeah, meditating, like I don't meditate that much, but when I take a walk, I'm in meditation. When I'm even in the shower, I'm in meditation. So it doesn't have to look like what everyone else says it looks like, spend an hour in meditation and silence and, doing journaling every day. It can look like any way it needs to look like for you. And, and your uniqueness, but it's just being able to, like Tom is saying, like I've mentioned, just taking that time for yourself, or just slowing down the process of what you're going through. So that way you, I guess, enjoy it more, and also just really tap into those inner resources that you have within yourself.
Yes. And, if you're keen on finding out, where do these themes of the year come from? And then every month has a keyword that works kind of under that energy of that theme of the year. We have calendars available on our website, and they're at this stage, what are they called? The La Familia Nuestra or elephant
Yeah, they're
calendars.
elephant calendars. Yeah.
So, there's some links there, the energy calendars. That's probably the best. And I find they're a great tool because it allows me to be more aware of what the energy of the school is at that particular time. In other words, what lessons are going to be kind of favored, within that period of time. So I think that the message is a good one, that, inner resources this is a great year coming up in, from September of 2023 to August of 2024, as Teresa said earlier, to really focus on your inner resources. And there's nothing like gaining that inner confidence from focusing on my inner resources.
Yeah. And I just kind of got an insight also from Spirit that there's going to even be more flow of energy, more flow from your team that's going to really support you where you're at this coming year. And that's also why this coming year's theme is inner resources. So anything else you want to say about that, Tom?
Yeah, the keys is always, for me, is what is my priority? And if my priority is my quote state of consciousness, in other words, how am I feeling? How am I moving? Then I'm going to take a moment. That's what I call putting myself first, because I can't be of service to anybody else unless I can't be of true service unless I'm really relaxed and I'm clear. Being relaxed doesn't mean I'm not energetic. It just means I'm flowing. I can move. I'm clear. It's easy. There's no baggage in my thoughts. It's just moving forward. And whoops.
Booyah to that.
Yeah. I made a little tap on that thing. And
that's all right. It's all good.
Always drives Teresa crazy.
We are human, right, Tom? Hello.
Yeah. Well, we're having a human experience, aren't we?
We sure are together. Yes. So I just want to thank you all for listening to another episode of Enthusiastically Spiritual. Thanks for my TNT SpiritWorks partner, Tom, for coming on and sharing another episode in September with me.
Yes. And our goal is to help people make the spiritual practical so that, we can live in two worlds, a balance of material and the spiritual world, feel successful, be successful, feel abundant, be abundant. And I think the one thing I wanted to share was, everybody probably remembers a time when things fell into place and doors opened and you felt relaxed and you were moving forward and you did get what you wanted or what you were really drawn to. And almost magically so, that opportunity showed up. And then I bet you remember times where things didn't seem to fall into place so easy. Well, I found the more that I relaxed and put my state of consciousness first, the more I can be in that balance of thought and feeling. And when I'm not, that's when, okay, what concepts do I have that are starting to, encroach on that peaceful, moving forward state of consciousness. That's how I would sum it all up.
So we hope that you all enjoyed this episode. If you liked it, please hit like, please subscribe, please share freely with your friends and family. Also, please, if you're listening on Apple, please leave a review for me. I would appreciate it so much. And also, you can leave a comment below if you're watching this on YouTube, on our TNT SpiritWorks YouTube channel. And just also want to put a little plug in for the Soulquake Survival Guide, Reviving Your Spirit, Reviving Your Connection to Spirit in Earth-Shaking Times. If you're interested in really reviving that connection to your inner resources, this is a great book to start. I share a lot about some of the things I've been through throughout my life, some realizations I came to as I worked with the spiritual side of me and had no clue what was going on. And these are during times of small changes, big changes, and what I call inner soul quake. So if you haven't checked it out, it's on Amazon.com. I have it in Audible, paperback, and ebook, and you can also find it on Barnes & Noble. So until next time we're together again, Tom, please remember that life is too short to not be enthusiastic about your unique journey.